can we all agree that all these Ocarina of Time remake conspiracy videos and hype videos are just getting too ridiculous?
Oh, hi, Mark.
What's up, Freccero fam? Welcome back to my channel. I'd like to experience everything that life has to offer. I think this is my first time ever doing a video like this, which is more of like a rant video. I'm just gonna jump right into it, that I love Ocarina of Time. I genuinely believe it is the greatest game of all time. I know that's not that unpopular of opinion at all, a very common opinion among a lot of gamers. And like most gamers, I would lose my sugar honey iced tea if they ever, and you never know, maybe it does happen, if they ever do release an entire remake, potentially, which seems like the hype is leading to this way, on the Nintendo Switch 2. And I'm not gonna lie, in 2026, in this year, if it happens, I will be that guy at GameStop at 4 in the morning, waiting in line to both buy a Switch 2 and the remake of Ocarina of Time immediately. I will be that guy. I'll probably do a vlog about it if it ever happens. And speaking of it ever happening, I just have to say this. Can we make it like a rule on YouTube? The Ocarina of Time hype videos, I feel like, are getting too ridiculous. Maybe it's my fault because of the way the algorithm works, because the algorithm knows I love these videos, but I've been duped. I've been scammed. I've been clickbaited way too many times, and you might say, Mark, it is your fault. It is your fault. And in some ways it is. You know, I am very excited and hopeful that potentially there will be an Ocarina of Time remake. But that being said, I've seen videos that are like, hey, we have proof, definitive proof that Ocarina of Time remake or the Ocarina of Time reboot or whatever phrase you want to use will come out in February of 2026. And I'm like, no way, that they have proof? Oh my God, okay. I hit play. I watch a 10-minute long video and then nothing. And I'm like, wait a minute. They just yapped about how good Ocarina of Time was and then said, we'll see. That wasn't proof. I fully just got duped to watch your stupid 10-minute long video. And I'm not trying to throw any hate against these other YouTubers. Like, I get it. As a YouTuber, yes, you want to make catchy titles. You want to make things that people click on. You want to make things that are kind of related to current trends or viral trends or whatnot, or trending things or topics. That way you get more hits. And right now, in the gaming world, I will say this, that talking about Ocarina of Time is maybe not as big, but almost as big as talking about like GTA 6. Like, we might actually, which is kind of funny, literally, I'm not making this up, we actually might get an Ocarina of Time remake before GTA 6, which would be hilarious. But we can all agree, right? For anyone who's been gaming for years, who loves Ocarina of Time as much as I do, that if Ocarina of Time, if they made a remake, and from what I heard, because there has been some tweets I've seen, there have been some videos that were more constructive about, look, here's actual evidence that there actually might be a remake. It does appear to be that it's not just there's probably a better way I can phrase this, more semantics here, where it's not just an re-improved thing, where it's like, you know, for example, Ocarina of Time on N64 to, like, say, on the DS, where it was like the Ocarina of Time 3D. That was more of like, oh, they improved some things here, the functionality, the iron boots are way easier to use in the water temple, for example. It was in 3D. So the graphics were better, blah, 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 like that kind of stuff. But apparently, from what I heard, the Ocarina of Time remake might be almost completely rebuilt from the ground up. Again, I don't know. I know it's just on this video. I have zero idea if the Ocarina of Time remake is going to happen. But I just want to put this video out there that with how excited I am about this potentially happening, I'm like, dude, don't edge me, bro. And I just want to say that because I can't be the only one. Maybe that's why you're watching this video. Maybe you share the same frustration as me, because again, I don't usually make rant videos on YouTube pretty much ever. Usually most of my videos are me doing like parkour or doing some educational video about like a supplement, or me at a music festival partying. Never do I do videos like this, but it's been too insane. And I will say that the hype I've never seen be more ridiculous, I think, for a game. And I think we can all agree genuinely that if they did do that, like I said, not only just re-released the Ocarina of Time, but it was a full-on remake from the ground up, I do think it would break the internet. I'm gonna be honest. I do think that, and I've seen some creators mention this, and I do agree with this. If they did do that on the Nintendo Switch 2, which I will say as a side note, I did play the Switch 2 for the first time recently last weekend. It was okay to me. I don't know if that's just me. I kind of felt like going from the Switch to the Switch 2 kind of felt like going from like, I don't know, like the DS to 3DS. Just the jump from one console to another didn't really feel like a new. It kind of felt like Switch 1.5, or hey, here's a Switch with better graphics and some better gameplay. Like, it didn't feel like a new console to me. And one thing I want to say as a side note, I love Nintendo. Nintendo is by far my favorite game developer because I feel like they're always ahead of the game. They're always trying new things. Whether they work or not, I almost respect that out of a company that says, hey, we tried something and it completely flopped. The Wii U, god-awful console to me. I hated the Wii U. But the Wii, revolutionary was an understatement. I mean, Nintendo 64, the first genuine true 4-player multi-game platformer where you could have really well-made multiplayer games. One of the best multiplayer consoles of all time with GoldenEye, Super Smash. The list goes on. Kart, of course, is iconic. Right, so you have all these things, and I feel like that with Nintendo, the Switch 2 just didn't do it for me. It kind of felt like I remember watching the trailer, maybe you did as well, and I was like, that was the most unenthusiastic trailer. I don't even think they like hyped up. They're like, oh yeah, we're releasing a new console. And you're like, oh wow, you seem really excited about this one. But anyway, I have had a lot of creators mention this, and I do agree with this, that if Nintendo released an Ocarina of Time complete remake for the Nintendo Switch 2, which like I said was kind of a meh platform, a meh console, at least to me, again, not trying to throw any hate against Nintendo, they would make so much money. They are literally sitting on a gold mine of a concept, an idea, and obviously, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying it's easier said than done, taking what is generally considered by most to be the best game ever, and then retransform it, remake it from the ground up to be not only as good as the original, but of course, they definitely have to add in probably more goodies. There's going to be extra side quests. Yes, you have the Master Quest version of Ocarina of Time, but it was just the dungeons. Or are they going to change a lot of other elements? I mean, it is, I think in some way, shape, or form, a very thing of like high risk, high reward in the sense that if you go for it and you hit it and nail it out of the park, the Ocarina of Time Remake could be, once again, considered one of the best games of all time and one of the most notable games of all time. But if it flops, if it's not as good, it's really going to hit hard. And I can see why Nintendo's maybe keeping this under wraps. If it is going to be a thing, but again, we'll have to see, and, for this video, I just want to say, with all the videos I've watched, I think that's a big issue for me. I've seen too many videos just talking about how people are like, oh man, definite proof, and then there's no proof, or they just yap about it. And maybe technically I'm yapping about this, but it's just, I think for me, my excitement has gotten increased too much, or I almost feel like I've gotten like somewhat or quasi rickrolled when I watch these videos that are like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I've watched some videos that are 20 minutes long, and I'm like, I really took away nothing from that video, and all they did was edge me. Like, they had some new piece of information about Ocarina of Time, and then it's going to be remade, and then nothing. But one thing is for sure, with all those videos being made, I guess this one included, I do think there's a fair to good chance, and I'm hoping that in 2026, we do get some type of announcement, some type of award, some type of actual legitimate piece of information or news that in fact a Ocarina of Time remake is coming for the Switch 2. And I'm telling you, if that happens, I'm going to lose it, and I'm literally going to cancel all my plans. I'm not going to go out. I'm probably just going to lock myself inside and just stream the whole thing on this channel. But until then, I just got to say, there are just too many Ocarina of Time videos on YouTube that create too much hype, and it's frustrating for me because now all the algorithm does. And I think this is what frustrates me the most. And I guess fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. But I think now all the algorithm does is feed me Ocarina of Time hype videos, because YouTube now is like, oh, he seems to really like these videos. Like, send him another one and I keep being like, maybe this one will have a good piece of information. And then it doesn't. But someday, maybe one of them will. And maybe someday we'll actually be able to see a definitive video, hopefully from Nintendo, saying, yes, the Ocarina of Time remake is in fact coming.